a song. Some of my earliest memories are musical, and in all my years, I've learned that songs are really powerful. I mean, they can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you want to move, and they can transport you back to a specific place and time where you can remember exactly how cool the air was to breathe that day, or what color everything became under the streetlights when they come on at night. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like coffee. It's magical. But why? So I want to get to the bottom of it. My name's Adam. I'm going to talk to every songwriter I can. And I'm going to find out first what they take in their coffee and then what it takes to make a great song. That's Coffee and a Song. Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of Coffee and a Song. It's Adam here. Just want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you everybody who tuned into the last episode. We're having a blast here. So if you like what you're seeing or you just want to watch the train wreck slowly derail, just go to YouTube, check out Jackshot Records. That's our channel. Like, subscribe, share it, hit the bell notification so you get the new episode updates. Head on over to Facebook and like our page, Jackshot Records, as well. So enough about us. My guest today, the first time I became aware of this guest, it was at an outdoor concert in the middle of town. The band was called Bulletproof. Out walks these young teenagers in middle school, and their instruments looked like they were bigger than they were. Then this little singer walks up to the microphone and just proceeds to rip through a set, face melting. It had the likes of Judas Priest, Led Zeppelin. These guys absolutely rocked. And I don't just mean for their age, I mean they rocked, period. So I went backstage, introduced myself, congratulated them on their set, and I was just so pleasantly surprised by how humble and grounded they were, and I've been a huge fan ever since. So that band decided to change their name to Playback, and then over the next decade proceeded to build their audience through their epic live shows, all the while self-releasing a couple of solid albums filled with original material. I was astounded by their musical maturity, which was well beyond their years. So, as life changes led to lineup changes, Playback, the band, was eventually retired. But out of their ashes came something new, something completely fresh, the Fictional Kings. Focused on solid songwriting, beautiful harmonies, and a little more focus on acoustic instruments, they have been wowing crowds with their epic live shows, showcasing their own distinct sound. At the heart of it, pure, honest rock, where the journey can go from a comforting whisper to a deafening, emotional roar. When he's not belting out in front of live audiences, you can also catch him on the hit podcast, Graham Avenue Podcast. So check that out on wherever you get your podcasts. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to Coffee and a Song, Mr. Kyle Gray.
Adam.
Kyle.
Wow, man.
Welcome, brother.
I'm almost getting emotional hearing that.
Cheers. That's what the coffee's for.
Man, love it. Good coffee, too. I wasn't expecting this good of coffee, so.
That is thanks to our wonderful assistants in the back, Oscar and Carly.
They're doing such a good job, too.
Spot on.
Congrats, guys.
So, Kyle, from the second that I announced that you were coming to the show, I have been inundated with personal texts, emails to the show, comments online. People want it. This is the biggest question, okay?
Okay.
What do you take in your coffee?
I drink coffee black. Like, I came really late into the game with coffee. Like, I didn't like it at all. And in university, like, I drank so much green tea one time that my stomach actually, like, was like a hard rock for like 2 days straight.
Maybe
I didn't know what was going on. I was actually so worried. So then I'm like, I got to switch to coffee. And like, I did my CPA, getting my accounting designation. And like, without coffee, it would have been probably impossible. So I had to make the switch. And I've just been trying to like not add things if I don't need it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't really need sugar and cream. So I just force myself to like coffee without it. So now I just drink it black. But sometimes it's tough when you get like a gritty, like Tim Hortons cup and you're like, this is horrible black.
Yeah, you got to have something in there.
Yeah.
But that kind of relates back to songwriting too. If it doesn't need it, don't add it. You're just kind of serving the song. This way you're kind of serving the coffee.
100%. Like a good cup of coffee technically doesn't really need a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit of cream. And same with the song. Like if you, trust me, I've overdone it a lot with songs where you add way too much and then it actually takes away from the whole purpose of it. So.
Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you like the specialty coffees too? Are you like a latte guy? You ever go for the frappa, wappa?
No, a bunch of my friends, they'll drink like mochas and I'm just like, this looks just brutal. Like,
I don't know, the mocha's pretty, I'm a chocolate guy, right? So the mocha's pretty good.
To me, it's just like way too much and like all I've had today, I don't really eat breakfast. So all I've had today is just strictly coffee. So, but yeah, like I see guys that just drink like these weird, like really sugary drinks and like, I'm already like, I buzz off caffeine with sugar as well.
Yeah.
I would be in a dark place, I think. So
Okay, so if you got to hit the road and you're going on a road trip, where do you stop for your coffee? Where do you get a coffee? Or do you get a coffee?
honestly, I'll probably stop at McDonald's. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like McDonald's probably has the best, like, chain coffee in
Okay.
Terrace. But great, like, White Goat Coffee's unreal. Started French pressing, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like, if you
We
haven't
do the
French
French
pressed,
press.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can tell that's French pressed.
White Goat Coffee's actually a local outfit too, right?
Yeah.
So
Unreal.
big shout out to them.
Yeah, Alexa does, like, an awesome job. And anyway, so I started French pressing. So now I'll actually make a lot of my own coffee. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I used to get coffee in the drive-through all the time, if I was hitting the road on a road trip or whatever, but
Yeah.
I prefer what we make at home now too. French press
100%.
all the way. So yeah.
Love it.
All right. So here's where I'm going to dive into the questions I want.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is this is about music. So how old were you when your music come into your life? Because I know you were young.
Yeah, I was 8. My dad put me in classical guitar lessons when I was 8,
wow.
so
Yeah.
grade 3, and I didn't really like it, didn't really like gravitate to it. But I did, like, if looking back now, like, I did learn a lot of the skills that probably helped me, because a lot of times, like, when you do school, you don't necessarily, it's not necessarily about what you're learning in school, but you're learning how to learn.
That's right.
So I think that helped me learn how to, like, I could pick things up a bit faster than probably if I didn't do lessons, but it really wasn't the thing that got me into music.
Right.
Guitar lessons didn't really get me into music.
Do you still feel like there's some kind of foundation there? You still go back there sometimes where you think about maybe a musical piece and you go into that kind of classical mindset, or?
To be honest, no. Like,
Okay.
I pretty much forgot about that life. And then now, actually, recently, I have started, like, working on some finger picking and stuff, which, I'll be honest, I'm not really using the skills, but I think it's just ingrained in me that I'm, like, maybe, like, inherently
Right.
using the skills, so.
So at what point would you say it transitioned from, like, now I want to be, like, a rock god kind of thing? And
Yeah, we had in grade 6, there was we were in music class, and then some of my friends that I wasn't in the band with, they had their own little band.
Okay.
And they, like, performed at music class. So the whole, like, class, it was both grade 6 classes came to the music room to listen. And I remember just thinking, I'm like, I could probably do that, like, as good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, like, I have this classical and they're playing Smoke on the Water to everybody. And I'm like, I should be able to do that. So he bought me an electric, and that's sort of when, like, the wheels got in motion and playback started.
Right.
My buddy Will Westby.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it began. So.
And so your dad, I've come to know your dad as well. I see him at lots of your shows and stuff, and he seems very supportive. I don't know this about him. I know he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Yeah.
Right? As are you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't watched hockey in a long time, but I grew up a Leafs fan, and that's
Yeah.
probably why I write
You
a lot
can't
of sad
switch.
songs.
Well, yeah, it's actually.
We're still waiting for them to win there.
I know. I feel like, yeah, the Leafs definitely, like, provide me a lot of pain. I've never written a song about the Leafs because
Right.
it's just too. I don't really know how to do it yet, but if they ever win, I'm for sure writing
There you
a
go.
song.
There'll be a lot of songs if
So
they
in,
win
like,
the cup
40
again.
years or
Yeah,
50
yeah.
years, I'll write a song.
When was the last one? Was it 60?
67.
Yeah, so
I don't like to talk
they're
about
due.
it.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'll skip that. But back to your dad. Is he
Yeah.
musical at all? Does he?
No, he's not musical really at all. Doesn't really, like, it just never was something that he got into, but I guess my grandpa, like, sang in church or something.
Okay.
And then I think both grandpas on both sides, I think, were musical.
Okay. So
Sort of. So I think that's where maybe I got it, but I wouldn't say I'm naturally, like, very musical. Like, I kind of have to work at it, but.
right.
But he's been super supportive. Like, he doesn't really it'd be much more different if I ever have a kid, like, with my knowledge, but he just, like, definitely was supportive in anything I wanted to do. The amount of times he'd be lugging gear up for some weird gig that we're doing that was really, we probably shouldn't have been doing and didn't turn out well. Like, he was always there no matter what, so.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Having that support is immense, and it shows now in your development.
Oh,
I think,
for
right?
sure.
So yeah. All right. So some of your early influences. I already mentioned the Led Zeppelin and the Judas Priest, but who are some of your early ones?
Well, I definitely started out, like, just the run-of-the-mill, like, classic rock. Not that they're bad or anything, but yeah, like the AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. A band that I really latched onto, I think just due to the simplicity of their songwriting, was the band Oasis.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people they strictly know Wonderwall and kind of goof on them, but like their first two albums are like really special, and I actually went with my mom and watched them play in Vancouver when I was like grade 9.
Wow, cool.
And that was like really eye-opening. That was like, other than Led Zeppelin, that was like my second band where I like dove fully in and knew like every song. For him, like Led Zeppelin's more like superhero rock, where I like it's hard to write a song like Led Zeppelin, but with Oasis, like it was very doable to like
Kind
it
of
was
more working
simplistic,
class and
way more working
relatable.
class. Yeah, so I really gravitated to them.
So let's document your prediction. Are they gonna do a reunion? Is it gonna happen? Are they
No,
gonna
I
headline Coachella? Or?
I don't think that they will.
No?
You never know. Like Liam and Noel are so like the one reason I think why they were so successful is because of how arrogant and like not really my style. I don't really like that style, but when it's true, when you're truly just super arrogant, I think I kind of like it a little bit. Like it's kind of cool to be a bit badass, but yeah, I honestly don't think they'll get back together. I kind of hope they don't.
Right.
Same with Led Zeppelin. Like, I never wanted them to get back together after they did their thing in 2007. Like, let your legacy stand and just do other things. Did you watch
the 2007 concert, and what was your thoughts?
Well, I bought as soon as it came out in 2012, they finally did the Celebration Day, and it was like that I watched over and over and over. Just seeing, like, that's where the perfect example of, like, clearly, like, pretty sure they practiced for like at least 2 months. I think it was like 6 months of like hardcore practicing.
Right.
And like that to me like shows like, man, if you put your mind to it and you practice, like that's like an elite result.
Right.
Like that, yeah.
And
to be that age to do that show.
And we talk a lot about music, and we're going to talk about songwriting and stuff, but that relates to any aspect of music. A lot of people start off with, say, learning the guitar or whatever.
Totally.
And hope for these kind of immediate results. But in the end, it's all about time, isn't it? It's putting in the time, it's putting in the practice. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's the only way, really.
Yeah. So were you born and raised in Terrace like your whole life, or?
Pretty much my whole life, yeah. My parents were in Stewart when I was born, but I was born in Terrace, and then we did like 1 year in New Brunswick, but pretty much all my years were in Terrace. So
do you think that's had a part in shaping like your songwriting or your outlook on music? Or
I think so, a bit. Like I definitely used to not really like Terrace that much, and as I've gotten older, I've actually come to really appreciate it. And I think the music scene, like Sight and Sound and all the opportunities that so many people like you and Steve Little, like all these different people that have like helped me out along the way, like I don't know if you'd get that in a different town.
Yeah, I guess
you might not.
That's very true. It's a very welcoming community, and I've appreciated just how much the local music scene has really kind of
for sure
flourished in the last 5-6 years. Like it's changed, and it's been for the better, I think, in a lot of ways.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on some of your songwriting philosophies here. So when you hear a song that you like, it's the first time you hear it. What do you think usually catches your ear first? Do you think it's like a melody? Do you think it's a guitar part? Do you think it's a lyric?
For me, it's usually not really. I'm not great at like listening to something right away and being able to pull everything out.
Right.
And like usually it's just like what I feel when I hear it.
Okay.
There's sometimes a part where I get like a little, maybe not a chill every time, but I'll have some sort of a thing where I go, oh, that's special, or that's what makes a good song. And then after that, a few more listens, I'll try to figure out why, and that kind of will help me like give me ideas for my songs, I think.
Okay. So are you pretty analytical when you listen to music? Do you have that producer mind where you sit and you start to reverse engineer it and question why, or is it an emotional?
I think it's weird because like in my job, and like I'm an accountant, so like a lot of stuff it's all analytical. But
very rock and roll.
Very rock and roll. But for music, I'm almost the opposite, where I'm not very analytical.
Yeah.
I don't really overthink things. I think it's nice because you have to think so much. I'm thinking so much in my job about like numbers or this or that. And then with music, it's strictly just how I feel.
And that's probably what you need, is that outlet, right? You need that kind of yin yang, that balance. So
like I'll talk to people, and like I'll talk to someone, and when we're writing songs, like, oh yeah, you're in key of F or whatever, or G, and yeah, you did this and that. They're talking notes, and you did this, and I'm like, dude, I just play.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's good and bad, because I can't really always like figure things out, because I can't be like, okay, if I play this note, it'll work. But so I just have to keep trying different notes.
Right.
Like I don't know my scales. I don't know keys.
But I think you have a heightened awareness just from what I've seen of you playing, singing, writing. You have this heightened awareness of like that gut instinct too with music. So I feel like when I see you perform, everything is coming from the gut. So
I'd like to think so, but yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with my questions here, but okay. So if I had one question, if we just sat down right now and I only had one question, you had to go, you had a flight to catch because you were playing in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I would ask you this question probably,
Okay.
right? So what do you think makes a great song great? Like if you could just kind of boil it down to something, how do you equate that?
Well, I think like what I said about what I feel, I think to me at least, like it has to have some sort of a feel.
Right.
And the thing that's cool about it is like you can have a song that's really slow and has a great vocal that hits you, or you can have a song like Rush. Like one of my favorite songs ever is like La Via Strangiato, which is instrumental.
Yeah.
But like the guitar solo when it breaks down is just like it blows my mind every time, and that makes you feel something. So I think it's a feel thing, but it can be every different element. It could be the production of the song that hits you right away. It could be a lyric, could be a melody. But it has to make you feel something.
Right.
If it doesn't, it's to me not a great song.
So any one of those elements, as long as they kind of
Yeah.
make an impact and make the song stand out, like something different, I guess.
And the really great ones have all of it.
Yeah, that's
a lot
right.
of the time.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So when you write a song yourself, how does it usually happen? Do you start with the guitar? Do you get a melody? Do you have a concept? Are you writing lyrics? What comes first?
Before I would always just write, like I'd be messing around on my guitar and I'd find a little part and then I would start to piece it together and get more of like a structure and then write lyrics on top of that.
Okay.
And then recently, just for fun, I've been trying to like write like more poetry, and then try to write music to that.
Okay.
It's very different. I find like the process of doing it is way different. Like if I write a song just with like chords or whatever, and I have all the music, I'll just sing like phonetically. I'll just make melodies up and sing blah 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 or sing random words. And then record it, listen to it back, and then put lyrics that fit within that.
Right.
Whereas in the other way, if you have the lyrics already, you already have the lyrics, but you try to build a melody on what you're reading.
Right.
So you're kind of reading as you're playing and trying to. So it's
little,
very different.
Yeah, very different. And I know I've done kind of both.
Trying to do it both
too.
ways. I want to be good at doing it both ways because you kind of pigeonhole yourself a little bit. I think if you can't write from lyrics to music or vice versa.
So I've spoken about this with others too. When it comes to things like poetry and stuff, I'm not an avid reader of poetry nor writer, but I have dabbled. But I know that when I read poetry, I'm still doing a musical thing in my brain. And I think for me, the music just never shuts off in my brain. Is that the way it is for you? Like if you're reading it, are you kind of almost putting a rhythm to it or, like beatboxing in your brain or something?
I think so for sure. Yeah. I find with poetry, like if you can understand like poetry, I think it can help so much because there are a lot of songs that it's not really poetry, but man, like some of the best songwriters, you listen to a song, you're like, how did that line that you wrote fit into this song? Like sometimes when you read it out, you're like, that makes no sense. But the way they tie the melody to the lyric is like, that's everything really.
Genius. Yeah. Okay. Do you compile lyrics? Like, do you have like a little stash or do you have your phone where you're throwing lyrics in there all the time or napkins all over the place? Or?
I've got like the notes app on my phone and I'll put stuff down every once in a while. Like I had one really good line that I heard from a TV show. I'll just quickly. Oh, actually, my phone's off. But I'll let you know about it after. But it's like I'll watch a TV show and I'll be like, that's a cool line.
Yeah.
And you can, in reality, it's not trademarked. You can steal people's lines.
As long as Gene Simmons doesn't get to it.
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
Right? We've talked about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what about melody? Same thing? Do you use the voice recorder? Or like you ever phone your answer machine?
Sometimes I used to drive a lot for my old job, and I would just put the voice memo app, and I just literally hum stuff. And the amount of times I've actually used stuff that I've hummed though is like almost zero. Okay. It's usually once I'm like actually working on the song, like it's hard to write a melody and then try to find the music that works with it.
Yeah, after the fact, can be, Okay. Now Now, what about genres? Do you find yourself writing in, like, say, and I know genre is a bit of a dirty word, but do you find yourself writing in a particular style all the time, or do you even consider style or genre, or is it kind of all over the map?
It's something that's always kind of bugged me, where I think that's probably where I'm like the weakest, is I always I've got like and I don't do it on purpose, but I have the things that I seem to always show up in every song the way I write it, and I'm trying to get out of that a bit, but I would say it's just like I can't really describe style of music, but it's like just like pretty much rock music, but I've been really trying to listen to other stuff and open my eyes to other types of music. Just more still on the rock spectrum, but like more like folk and like Americana, that kind, and country.
Okay.
Just trying to find like things to diversify myself a bit, because there's been a lot of like years of writing songs where I'm like, every song sounds the same. I gotta like get better at this.
Sometimes that could be a common thread in a style too, though, right?
That's true.
But I hear you.
Tom Petty wrote a lot of songs that are very similar,
That's
and
right.
he did quite well.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dive in, because you mentioned a few different genres there, and this is where maybe I'll edit this out later just so you feel more at ease and stuff. But I'm gonna ask you like kind of a deep dive question here.
Okay.
Do you have a guilty pleasure? Like, do you have a song, say, that you would never want Mario to know about? Mario's
there's
the guitar player.
Constantly, but I'll just tell him. There was this one song, and I don't even think it's really that great, but it's called. It's one of Katy Perry's like newest songs. I can't remember the name of it, but I listened to that song. Like I drove for work out to Kitwanga, and I listened to it all the way there and all the way back. It's like 2 full hours of listening to this song, and a lot of Katy Perry stuff for whatever reason, just like the way because she doesn't really write her songs, but hopefully she's not going to listen to this, but like just some of the melodies that she sings, like Teenage Dream, another one. I don't know if you heard Teenage Dream.
I know Katy Perry's music.
Unreal song. So that's like my guilty pleasure, I think.
Fair enough, yeah.
Like pop.
We'll try and edit that out so you're not
edit it out.
Yeah. But I remember her first coming onto the scene with I Kissed a Girl or whatever, and I just thought that was a clever song. And that's what I found about her lyrics. I know they're very pop oriented and cartoonish, and whatever, but they're very catchy and very deliberately clever. Okay, so do you always write on the guitar? You ever write on another instrument?
No, I can only really play guitar, so I want to buy a ukulele and try to mess around on that and write some tunes with that, but I really wish I could learn piano, or because piano, like you see a lot of people, like it's all kind of spread out there for you, and but I never really had the drive to learn another instrument, so everything I do is on the guitar, or sometimes the boys in Fictional Kings, they'll like have something, or Mario will have something that he's figured out, and we'll start jamming around it, and then I'll just sing to it.
Right.
So I might not even have my guitar with me, and
fair enough.
They'll start something, but that's happened a few times. But normally it's just on my guitar.
And so you're not afraid to collaborate at all when it comes to songwriting, like you're.
No, I did some stuff with Percy, and I'm doing something with a guy in town, Harold Fedderson. He's does a lot of classical stuff, so we're writing a song together, all like digitally.
Oh, cool.
So we're
emailing back and forth.
We have a Dropbox. We're doing it all. So I love collaborating, and like just like for example, just like songwriting with Percy and stuff. It's pretty cool. Like he's, no offense, Percy, but he's 40 years older than me, and it's cool that we don't like. It's like we're the same age, and I've learned so much from him about things, and
such a great guy. He's going to be on the next episode.
Oh, okay,
actually, so
perfect.
We're interviewing Percy.
Yeah, you just learn. I think when you collaborate, you just learn. You pick up little things from everybody. Like if you're too closed off and you don't want to collaborate, it's probably a disservice to yourself, I think.
Okay, fair enough. So some songwriters kind of subscribe to this philosophy that a song isn't finished until you've played it for people. How about you? Do you keep some for yourself, or do you feel like in order for you to kind of let that one go and say it's finished, it's got to be kind of put out there?
Never really thought about that, but I think that's definitely the case for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I've had a lot of songs that I've got all the way through, and then I just go, nah.
Trash it?
Just turf it and never play it ever again.
Do you put it in a vault though, just
Sometimes
in case?
I do.
Yeah.
There's been songs that we've played live, like more so with playback, but we've played them live as a certain song had a different name, different lyrics.
Yeah.
And I'll take the music and redo the whole melody and lyrics.
Yeah.
And it becomes a new song.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't always just turf them forever, but
So some songwriters I know, like when they have a lyric, if they, some people have that conduit thing where songs just come to them and they'll kind of write it out really fast and they'll have those lyrics and they'll leave them as those lyrics. They won't go back and rewrite. And I know other people will go back and comb over and over again. Are you one of those guys who'll go back then and do a rewrite? It sounds like you're not afraid to anyway.
I will do it, but yeah, I don't, like, I find like I'm not a great lyric writer, and there's definitely times where we've been playing it for a long time. I'm like, I should probably change that. But for me, it's like, if it sounds good in the song, the lyrics, they really they do matter, but I feel like you can still get that feeling when we go back to like how you feel. Right. You can, like the Beatles, they got some songs that have a lot of meaning and songs that probably don't have a lot of meaning.
Right.
But you still feel something when you listen to them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
what advice, some young kid just went out today, bought a ukulele.
Yeah.
They've already got 4 chords under the belt. They know they have enough to write a couple songs. What advice do you give to a young songwriter just starting out?
I think the biggest, or the thing for me, and it actually was probably the best thing to ever do, is I was kind of like naive and like fearless when it came to like writing songs. Like I just wrote songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were probably like really bad, and I played them in front of people, and you just have to do it and not be like afraid. It's really easy to say don't be afraid, but the amount of times that we played concerts and we played songs and I'm like, I can't believe we played that, but you have to do it. Because if you're always like waiting for it to be perfect, you'll never do it.
Fair enough. So you hear that from Kyle Gray, just do it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So all money aside, not a money consideration, but just kind of a personal conviction thing or whatever, what famous song or well-known song do you wish you had written?
Geez, that's a good one. Well, When the Levee Breaks would be like, I would love to say that I wrote that, just because I think it's...
So would Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of like not a great one, but that's like one of my... I think When the Levee Breaks is probably like my all-time...
Great song, yeah.
Favorite song, but I probably like... It's not like one of my favorites, but I think Old Man by Neil Young, just to be able to say that you had that in your repertoire would be pretty unreal.
Pretty significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I end up covering my questions in advance, so I'm just... Today, your phone rings or whatever, your agent says, listen, your latest song is on fire, everybody wants to work with you. So you get to collaborate with anybody in the world right now you want. Who's it going to be?
I definitely want to work with this producer named Dave Cobb. Okay. He's like this guy. Lately I've been following producers. Like if there's an artist that I like, I'll find out who their producer is and see what other music they've produced. And Dave Cobb right now is like, he's hitting it out of the park. Like almost everything he touches is like doing extremely well. Like he's done Brandi Carlile, Jason Isbell. He did John Prine's last record, which was awesome. John Prine. Like he's done Chris Stapleton, and that's kind of where I found out about him. But yeah, I would rather work. I don't think I'd want to work with any like artists. I'd like to work with a producer for sure. So,
right. And sometimes that's something that maybe songwriters don't realize is how much of a role a producer can play in.
It's huge. I need someone to look at my stuff and be like, you should play a G there.
Right.
You're playing a C and it doesn't sound right. You got to play a G.
Yeah,
I'm not good at
if you're just kind of maybe you don't live in this world of songwriting and whatever, the producer is kind of like the song doctor, if you will.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so you did bring a new song today, right?
Yeah.
And this one's like fresh?
Yeah, well, I wrote it I've been working on it for about a month and a half.
Yeah.
And I had a completely different chorus and it just bored me to tears. So I changed the chorus, changed the lyrics, and I think it's pretty decent.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to it. And it's called Sunk, is that right?
Yeah.
You ready to play?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is Kyle. This is his newest song called Sunk. don't forget to check out on iTunes. You can find Playback's albums on iTunes. I've still got them on my playlist right now. Spotify, wherever you get your music, check out the music. Anyway, Kyle Gray with Sunk.
Okay. Depressions and recessions show the wealth won't trickle down, but nothing ever changes. We're still living in the ground, barely holding it together, while kings and castles laugh. Obsessions with possessions won't make you feel whole. You say that we're a family to strengthen their control. When crisis shows its hand, you'll see who takes the fall. And I am feeling sunk, I've got no way out. Someone lend a hand when it's reaching out. And I don't wanna fall deeper in the red, but I ain't got a choice. I was misled, I was misled. Seem to notice when it doesn't feel quite right. Hear it in their voices, hiding in plain sight. Draw a line across my heart, I draw a line. And I am feeling sunk, I've got no way out. Someone lend a hand when it's reaching out. And I don't wanna fall deeper in the red, but I ain't got a choice. I was misled, I was misled.
We need an audience in here for this. That's what we need, man. That was fantastic.
Thanks.
That's like fresh, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. So where did that one come from? Like, where do you think that one came from?
Oh, I was, we've been sitting obviously at home quite a bit.
Yeah.
And just watching like the news and stuff. And I talked to Percy about this like way before any of the stuff that's happened. And we were just talking, I'm like, man, we have a horrible billionaire problem. And I'm like, people are getting like the disparity in like wages is getting out of control. And so I wasn't talking about myself because I'm doing totally fine and like I'm very privileged in my life, but I was thinking about like people that are, you know, struggling so hard. And a guy like Jeff Bezos or one of these big CEOs or billionaires, they're making so much money still. And just the disparity, like, I'm like, you feel sunk, like it, not just me, like I feeling about like other people, what they're going for, but I couldn't imagine like being, you know, living in an apartment in like a busy city in the US, like barely scraping by with a family, and you don't have a job, and this other guy's making, you know, so much money and small businesses are closing, and it just kind of rattled me, so I wrote something about it. Brilliant,
man. Great job. And I mean, I look forward to the recording. Is there an album in the works? What's the status there?
Well, we're gonna like I demoed it, and we're gonna bring it to the guys and hopefully figure out how to do it like full band and stuff, and I don't think we'll do a full album, but I think we're gonna do like little EPs, like 2 or
Yeah.
3 song EPs, and
Yeah, I think kind of the days of the albums, it's kind of not always economical to do that. And,
yeah,
and
it's tough
maybe,
when you have a day job and
That's true.
you're doing your life. It's easier to just do 2 songs or
Yeah.
3 songs and then it's done. But
Well, normally I'd talk about upcoming gigs and stuff, but right now that's all on hold for us. So
Yeah.
I know you guys are going to be coming out as soon as you can, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'd love to have you back on the show. We can talk about
that'd be
that.
awesome.
Have a little more, maybe even bring Mario along too.
For
and
sure.
I know he's always got stuff to say. One thing I got to do though, before we're done here, I need you to sign. This is the Cup of
Oh, love
Fame,
it.
so I need you to sign this for me. This is going to be
Okay.
Season 1 Cup of Fame here.
Nice. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
thanks a lot for having me. This has been
And what
awesome.
about Facebook and
So
where we find
Facebook,
you?
Fictional Kings, and then we're on Instagram at Fictional Kings. We're gonna start doing some stuff soon, I hope.
Awesome. Make sure you check out the band. These guys are
Horrible
fantastic.
signature,
Oh, that's great. That's okay. Oh, wow, that is horrible. No, I'm just kidding. Check out the Fictional Kings. Make sure you go back and check out Kyle's back catalog with playback. Fantastic stuff. Always a great guy. Always a great musician. Always delivers heartfelt performances. Just want to give a big shout out for Kyle coming on. Can't thank him enough. So that's it for this episode. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, share the video, like it on Facebook, Jackshot Records. And until the next episode of Coffee and a Song, take care. We'll see you then.